All right, so we are picking up in book 4, line 659, which is a big jump from where we left off in our previous video at the end of Aeneas's speech. So we really do need to figure out what happens in between Aeneas saying, I do not follow Italy by my own will, and where we pick up here with Dixit saying she spoke. Because that means that Dido spoke before this, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. So let's take a look at context. That's not right. Here we go. All right, so this is a translation starting from where we left off at line 362, right up there. So there's a lot that goes on very quickly in this section, which is why it's important that we run through it really quick. So we get the general plot points before we move on to the next part, which is a very, very important part. Our video topic today is extremely important. So you'll see that in a couple minutes. But for now, Aeneas has just said in his speech, oh, let's see if I can make the thing work. He just said, I don't do this by my own accord. It is not my wish that I make for Italy. And thus he spoke. And you'll notice that the next speech is given by Dido, and Dido is basically considering his argument. This whole argument that Aeneas just made in his speech, Dido considers, and basically her conclusion from listening to his speech is that he must be lying. And she gets extremely angry at him and says, fine, leave. That's basically the gist of her speech. Fine, go away. I hope that your ships crash on rocks. I hope that you never make it to Italy, and I hope that you die in the process. So that's the last time that Aeneas and Dido speak directly, is with Dido saying at the very end of her speech, right here, relentless one, you will repay. I shall hear, and the tale will reach me in the depths of the world below. When I die, and I will die relatively soon, she says, I will hear about how you regret this. And that's her gist. But loyal Aeneas, we get down in 393, but loyal Aeneas tries to calm her. He's very shaken up by this speech, and he is still unswayed by her argument nonetheless. So he's very upset, but he continues on his plan to leave. So Dido, well, she sends him away and he leaves. Dido, in the meantime, calls Anna to her. And that's where we get at line 416. Anna is her sister. She calls Anna to her and says, Anna, go talk to Aeneas for me. I haven't convinced him. Our conversation went very, very badly. He's still planning on leaving. You go talk to him for me and see if you can convince him to stay. I'm not going to ask him to be my husband again because he obviously doesn't want that, but maybe he could just stay here. She asked Anna this. The last grace I crave. No, wait, no, sorry. Where are we? I do not plead for the old marriage that he forswore, nor that he give up fair Latium and resign his realm. I just ask for time. So I won't even ask him not to go, just don't go yet. Go tell him that and see if you can convince him to stay. So Anna goes to Aeneas, like the good sister that she is, and does not convince him. So his mind stays steadfast, his tears fall without effect. He's very upset. His tears fall, but without effect. He will continue going on his path. When Dido hears that Anna was unsuccessful in convincing Aeneas, she decides that she will die. This is where she makes the full decision that she is going to kill herself because all of her attempts have been thwarted. So when you get down to line 474, she goes back to Anna. She talks to Anna again and says, all right, Anna, we did not convince Aeneas to stay, but I have a plan. And my plan is to move to magic. I'm going to do a spell. I'm going to burn some of Aeneas's things, and then the gods are going to return him to me by this old magic that I found somewhere. Now, obviously, that is not what Dido is actually planning on doing. She's planning on killing herself on top of a pyre of a lot of his stuff. But she convinces Anna to go get a bunch of slaves to help build this pyre and put a bunch of Aeneas's old stuff on it by saying, aha, I'm going to do some magic by burning his things, and then he will return. Right? It is against my will I arm myself with magic arts. Magic isn't necessarily a good thing, but I will do it because then he will come back to me. So Anna, um, where is this? Anna thinks not that her sister veils her death under these strange rites. Anna does not realize what Dido's plan is, so Anna goes and creates this pyre and puts a bunch of Aeneas's old stuff on top of it. But the queen, Dido, is becoming more and more enraged as she continues on in time. She's losing her mind more quickly as time progresses, and she's becoming more and more sure of her decision to die. So let's see. If we jump down here, right, she revolves her thoughts in her heart. What am I to do? Should I abandon my people? Should I try to get him back? And her result is yes, I'm going to abandon my people, and I should not try to get him back. I'm going to die instead. Now, 554, we jump to Aeneas. Aeneas is catching some sleep on the ships. They have now put the ships in the water, though they haven't officially started sailing yet. They're going to sail in the morning because why start sailing at nighttime? So Aeneas is starting to sleep a little bit, and in his sleep, Mercury comes back. Mercury comes to see Aeneas in a dream and basically says, "Do you not see that Dido is going crazy? You need to get out of here, and you need to get out of here fast. So flee immediately. Do not wait until morning. Go now." So Aeneas wakes up, scared by this sudden vision, and he wakes up all of his comrades and says, "All right, we need to go." And so they start to leave in the middle of the night, and so they go. And Dido sees this happening. Dido looks out the window and she sees the ships leaving. Some of the speed ships are going from the docks, as we see there. So she curses Aeneas, she curses the Tyrians, and she comes down to the pyre that Anna has made. She tells one of her slaves, this nurse, to go get Anna. Anna wasn't at the pyre. It was the middle of the night. Keep that in mind. So she says, "Nurse, go get Anna," and have her bring some of these offerings, some of the stuff of Aeneas's with her. So this nurse goes and brings Anna, and Anna comes back to Dido, and Dido is currently standing on top of the pyre when Anna arrives, and she is getting a little crazy. She is trembling and frantic with her dreadful plan, rolling bloodshot eyes, her quivering cheeks flecked with burning spots, and pale at the imminence of death. So she is not doing very well. She climbs the high pyre in a frenzy and unsheaths the Dardan sword. Remember this sword. We have seen this sword before. It's the same sword that Dido gave Aeneas originally. It has that those yellow gemstones on it. Aeneas left it there, which is really a bummer for Dido because that thing cost a lot of money. So she unsheaths this sword, the same sword that she gave to Aeneas as a gift, standing on top of the pyre, and that's where Anna arrives. And that's when Anna arrives to see her sister in this state. And that's where we pick it up here on line 569. Dixit, she spoke. And impressa is a deponent perfect passive participle. So having pressed os, a kiss, to the sheet, toro, it kind of means the couch or the covering. That would be like Aeneas's cloak. So she spoke, and having pressed a kiss to the cloak, she says, I eat, down there on the second line, she says, Moriamor, we will die Inultai unavenged. And we're using the royal we here. She's really talking about herself. We will die unavenged, but Moriamor. Look at your connecting vowels. Connecting vowels matter a lot. That is a weird connecting vowel for this verb. That is a present subjunctive, but notice how it's not in a clause. I know you guys love subjunctives that aren't in clauses. So this is an independent subjunctive, and we will find in a second that this is a hortatory. Think to yourself, do you know how to translate a hortatory subjunctive? You translate it as let us. So, we will die unavenged, but let us die, she says. Seek, seek, that's anaphora. Thus, thus, or in this way, it is pleasing to go under the shadows. So in this way that I'm going to die, that is the way that I should go to the underworld. Um, Hauriat, another weird connecting vowel. That's another present subjunctive that is not in a clause. Same deal with ferat, another present subjunctive not in a clause. But those can't be hortatory because they're not first person plural. They're third person singular. So what's that type of subjunctive that's a lot like hortatory, but for third person? Do you remember? It's Joseph. Basically the same thing, but rather than saying let us, it's let him. So let him, the cruel Dardanian, let him, Hauriat, drink up Hunk Ignem, these fires, with his eyes from the deep, or from the sea. And let him bring the omena, the omens of my death with himself. Let him always remember the omens of my death. Let him know that he knew I was going to do this. Dixarat, she spoke. And the comites. At this point, we now lose Dido as the... Oops. Let's change that. At this point, we lose Dido as the subject because she is no longer a person. She is now a shade. She's killing herself in this moment. She spoke, and the comites, her comrades, saw Ilam. They saw her having collapsed in the middle of such things on the sword. So that sword that we saw Aeneas wearing way back in the day, that's the sword that kills Dido. And this is where Dido dies, right here. She spoke, and thus her comrades saw her having collapsed in the middle of such things on her sword. And they saw the ensem, the sword, spumantem, foaming cruore, foaming with blood. And they saw her hands, manus, having been scattered with blood. You want to take that cruore twice, with spumantem once and with sparsus once. A shout, clamor it. A shout went ad alta atria to the lofty atriums, or to the lofty halls. And rumor, we're back to the rumor monster. Anytime we have fama capitalized, that is rumor. And rumor, bakatur, we've had that word too, rages. Rumor rages through the city having been struck. So all of a sudden, rumor starts flying through the city, being like, what did our queen just do? Tecta fremunt, the roofs or the houses roar. And this is where we're getting kind of personification. Houses can't roar, but it means the people, all the people in all the houses. The houses roar lamentis, with laments, or with wails, with tears. The houses roar with wails and with a groan and with a feminine howl. This ululatu is an onomatopoetic word. It's a great word, onomatopoeia. Ululatu. It sounds a lot like the ancient practice of howling or keening at someone's death. The women would walk in front of a funeral processional and howl, quite literally, to represent grief. So the houses roar with these laments and with a groan and with a feminine howl. The upper air, the aether, resounds with great plangoribus wailings. The upper air resounds with great wailings. Non aliter quam, not differently than if omnis Carthago, if all of Carthage, or ancient Tyre, that's where Dido is originally from, if all of Carthage or ancient Tyre, ruat, should fall, with emissis hostibus, with enemies having been sent in. And raging flames would roll, wolwantor, would roll through the roofs of men and through the roofs of gods. So this howl is not this grief that the entire city of Carthage is expressing is not differently than if all of Carthage and ancient Tyre would fall due to enemies, and if raging flames came through the city, destroying the houses of men and the temples of gods. So that's how distraught the people are. This conditional, if you take a look at it, ruat and wolwantor are both present subjunctives, which makes it a future less vivid, should, would. We can talk about that a little bit more in class on Monday. All right, I have 10 seconds before the video ends. Have a great weekend. Schematize and vocab for the next set of lines, 674 to 689. Woo! See you Monday.